I don't care if anybody else is doing it or not. If I have a manufacturer's repair procedure that says this is how it needs to be done,
Right.
then that is how we're going to do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Airing of Grievances. My name is Eric Raymer. That's Robert Grieve, and it is, as always, a privilege to have you join us for today's episode. And before we get into it, it's Christmas,
It is.
right?
Yep. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Absolutely.
You and your families. Hope it's an amazing time for you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you very, very much. And with that being said, if you haven't done it, your Christmas gift to us would be just clicking that thumbs up. And if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Click the notify bell. That tells you that we've dropped another video and it's time to tune in and chat with us live during the premiere. We would love that very, very much.
Yep.
All right, Rob, happy Saturday.
To you, happy Saturday. And my dear friends, thanks for tuning in as always. Totally enjoy all the interaction,
Yeah,
all the comments and likes and shares, and it's all very exciting.
absolutely.
So you make me smile.
Hey, a couple of weeks ago, we ran a video that talked about the largest insurer in the country here in the U.S.
Property casualty.
Property casualty, yes, thank you for that. They decided to itemize their list of heck no, we won't pay.
Yeah.
And we counted them up. I think I might have got an error on that. I said 127. I think it might have been 126.
126.
Yeah, 126 items that they said no to. And Rob, I've been out of town a little bit here. I went and got married, and I'm super happy for that. Thank you. But Rob, they communicated again.
They did. They did. Damn near memorized all the items and sent the guest a reply because, you know, these letters that are going to the Department of Insurance aren't coming to me. They're going to the guest.
Right.
Guest sends them to me. You know, I kind of replied to the guest some of my thoughts.
Right.
And she shared those with the Department of Insurance, who shared them with the neighbor.
Yes. Not like a good neighbor.
You know, have you ever bought a house and, you know, you got good neighbors and all of a sudden, not so much?
Yes.
We're kind of in that same spot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. All right. So did the insurer then respond to the query from the Department of Insurance?
They did, and they wrote back to the department and to the guest, and naturally the guest forwarded it to me. But I just want to read the last paragraph in my response because it's a 2-page response.
Okay.
I said, it's my opinion that the author of this response should acknowledge, this is to the first response that we spoke about in the video a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
It's my opinion that the author of this response should acknowledge the inaccuracies and produce a document containing the current differences not agreed to by the insurance company and why. If the reason is these are deemed non-competitive, they should offer some proof of how they arrived at that conclusion and verify if the decision is consistent with the manufacturer of the vehicle's repair manual.
That sounds very reasonable. At the very least, if you're going to say no, you should validate why you're saying no. If you say it's non-competitive, there should be evidence to that effect.
Yep.
Where did you get that information, and how did you come by it, and is it in line with or not with the manufacturer's repair
procedures?
Yeah.
So, and again, we're talking about pretty much a brand new Prius with 4,000 miles on it.
4,000 miles.
And the difference between our repair plan and their third attempt at the repair plan is right around $6,000. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
For somebody who was the victim of an accident.
Yes. So one of the things that's really important when you're getting your vehicle repaired today from collision damage is that you have your safety systems inspected. Seat belts, airbags, blah, blah, blah. And each manufacturer has laid out what needs to be done and in what case.
Absolutely.
And so they address it here.
They, the insurer.
Yeah, address it in their response to my response to their response. So this is all new information, but I found this to be incredibly interesting. So we reviewed the concerns outlined, and they call me out by name.
Really?
Yeah, and yet I don't get copied on the thing. The guest sends it to me. So I thought that was interesting. We reviewed the concerns outlined by Mr. Grieve, the owner of Nyland's Collision Center, regarding safety inspections when a vehicle is involved in a collision. We consider what the manufacturer says about inspecting a vehicle after repairs. However, these instructions are general. So we examine each case individually. You'll hear that a lot in the insurance industry, that they take it case by case, even though they deny things all the time that are the same thing.
Yeah, it's a rubber stamp case by case.
Yeah, it's a case by case. Here's where it gets fun. We consider the direction of the impact, severity of the damages, the vehicle's occupancy, proximity of technology to the damaged area, pre-repair scanning results, and the extent of mechanical, electrical, or structural damages.
Who's doing that examination and consideration?
I asked one of the adjusters that came back out on this vehicle, and we'll get that out in a second.
Yeah.
And I said, "Did you do all that?" And he says, "Hell no." Maybe the author of the letter did.
Oh.
But interesting to say, they consider the direction of the impact, severity of the damages.
Yeah.
We talked about severity of the damages last week.
Yes, we did.
And how they may have an impact on personal injury. But they look at the severity of the damages, but are they looking at the severity of the damages on the initial estimate that they wrote, which was 3,000 something?
Yeah, how could they possibly?
Or the second one that they wrote, which added another 4,000? Or the third one that they wrote that added another, I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
It's up to $11,000. Are they looking at the $11,000 number? Or are they looking at the $3,000, or one of the ones in between?
Well,
I'm not
obviously,
sure.
they must have had multiple teams of engineers come out and look at those severities.
Not here, they didn't.
Oh, no.
Not here. This is another very important piece here. Mr. Grieve expressed concerns regarding our timeline of the initial supplement inspections. Our initial response to the complaint provided a timeline of supplements reviewed and approved by us, including the approval of the removal and replacement of the damaged quarter panel, removal installation of the blind spot monitor, and disabling and reset of the vehicle's high voltage system. Initially, we did disagree with these line item entries, but changed our position as a result of additional information per our inspections at Nyland's. So, last time we talked about they had 126 things,
Yes.
items,
Yes.
over 7 pages or so
Ridiculous.
of single-lined bullet points.
Yep.
And apparently, just because they say it doesn't necessarily mean it's so. Because in that 126, there were at least 20, I think more,
Yeah.
that were already on the supplements.
Right.
Which confused me as to why they'd be showing as a denial on
Yeah,
this thing.
they agreed to pay
when they
for
already
those.
agreed to them.
Yeah.
So that was confusing to me. And so if you remember in my response, I said, how about you produce a document that removes all the stuff you've already agreed to, and we just deal with the stuff that you haven't agreed to. And that part of this letter, the last sentence is, below is a list of estimate differences from our prior response, but with the removal of line item repair, replace entries, which have since been approved and paid for by us.
Entries.
Entries.
Okay.
So my question or my request was, you already approved a whole bunch of these things in the 126.
Right.
Provide a document that doesn't have that,
Right.
that doesn't have those items.
And it looks like they've gone and done that.
Yeah, they went and did that.
All right.
Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7. Looks awful familiar to me.
Feels kind of familiar.
So I counted the bullet points on this new document that supposedly removes the things they already agreed to.
Did you ever think that counting bullet points of line items of no would be in your job description?
No, this is the first for me. So now we only have to deal with, what did we have last time?
126.
Ready for this?
Yes.
Now there's only 125.
They said entries.
Yes,
They were removing the entries.
yes.
They removed one?
They removed one. They removed one. And I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 looks like to me items that are still on this list that they have already included in their very first estimate, supplement 1, supplement 2, and supplement 3.
So meanwhile, while this neighbor is treating each case individually, it appears that they have rubber stamped it once again
Yeah.
and individually removed only one.
Right, and I find it to be misleading that they're telling the Department of Insurance that they have now produced a document that does not include the things they've already paid for. Regardless. So I decided, I contacted the guest, let him know that I received it and reviewing it, and that I was going to resubmit the sup again for a 4th time. And sure enough, this week, an adjuster came, and I dealt with him.
Okay.
And he said, okay, let's go look at the car. I said, not so fast. We're going to sit down and do some administrative work first.
Because you now, by this time, you have a file cabinet full of paperwork
Yes.
on this case.
Yes. And just like in 2 weeks' video, I was showing the different things that I have proof right here.
Yeah.
This all needs to be done. I sat there and made him take pictures of it. And I am anxiously awaiting a reply. And we have not gotten one as of yet.
You know we're going to report back on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, wow.
Yeah, and I went through most of these.
Yeah.
I want to hit the big ones, because sometimes the big ones, if you agree to that, then you're going to agree to 4 or 5 of the small ones, because they go in conjunction with the big ones. And then I brought him out to the car, and went over the car and how these panels get installed and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. And yeah, it's going to be interesting.
You know, Rob, it strikes me that the lengths to which this particular company is going to out of their way to protest this situation. Of course, the guest is the one who gets really caught in the middle of all
Right,
of
and
this.
we're just trying to help her out because I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, but it strikes me that this isn't about performing the proper procedures. This isn't about even really what we will or will not pay for. This is about a personal vendetta against you.
It could be.
It feels that way.
Yeah, it could be. And most of what they're saying here is it's not competitive in the market. Other shops aren't doing it. I don't care if anybody else is doing it or not. If I have a manufacturer's repair procedure that says this is how it needs to be done,
Right.
then that is how we're going to do it.
End of story.
And the guest needs to be indemnified.
Yes.
So I'm awaiting the response. But here's the thing that I can tell you, folks. You must know if your policy includes the appraisal clause. Because that is what solves all this. This wouldn't be going on if the guest had the appraisal clause in her policy, because then she'd hire an appraiser, independent appraiser.
Right.
The insurance company hire an independent appraiser. They'd get together and they would go through all this.
And this particular company does not have that clause, except in the case of a total loss.
Yep.
And this is a brand new car.
Right.
So a $17,000 repair is nowhere near totaling the vehicle.
Right.
So she is out of luck as far as that correction goes.
And so, and I don't think that the Department of Insurance is going to engage in this. They've already told her the best thing to do is to go through her own policy.
Which, by the way,
you ready for this? It's the same company. The only thing that she would be gaining by going through her own policy now is she'd have a deductible to pay. So that's not a very good way to do it. And if you have an insurance policy that has no arbitration clause, and in property and casualty it will call it right to appraisal or appraisal clause,
yeah,
then you get jammed in this hole. And we're just, doing everything we can to help her. But the most important thing here is just because they say it once doesn't mean it's so.
that's right.
Because I know this next supplement that I just did with the gentleman, which I spent a little over an hour going through these items and going through the car and showing him the reasons why we had them on there. And here's the way it works generally with this particular company. They'll come out, they'll agree, they'll say, yeah, I see what you're saying, all the rest of that. And you feel like, okay, we did a good job. There's an understanding of what needs to be done. And then you get a piece of paper that's half what you talked about.
Right.
And I'm expecting that this time, even for the supplement.
Yep.
That doesn't mean we're done. So just wanted to bring everybody up to date on how these things keep getting drawn out
Yeah.
when you have a policy that is really not working in your favor.
Yeah, with neighbors like that, who needs enemies?
So we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing it. We
Yep.
appreciate it. Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you. My dear friends, Merry Christmas to you and your families. I hope you have the most joyous time. And see you next Saturday. God bless.